Hey, welcome back to the Free Speech Forum podcast. My name is Brooks, and we got John here. What's up, man?
Yo,
Good to have you back. It's been a minute. So today
yeah,
we're
it's
going
good
to
to be
talk.
back.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about the rise and fall of FTX and its connections between Tom Brady, Ukraine, and the Democrat Party. And I know you're pretty plugged in on this, so can you get us started?
Yeah, it sounds incredibly bizarre if you hear like Tom Brady's connection to money laundering in Ukraine through cryptocurrency, but and it's not definitely not as cut and dried as that, but we definitely have kind of a modern Enron situation going on here. So people have
Right.
probably been seeing this in the news a lot about FTX and really not being able to make much sense out of it. Just
Yeah, FTX
assuming,
is like
oh,
they're everywhere, right? I mean, I was watching Major League Baseball and I saw it on the umpire's jacket,
yeah, that's
and
right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, is that some new part of baseball? What is this? And then I learned it's actually a company being advertised on the umpire uniforms.
Yeah. So I think even like when they do the advertisements on the mound,
Yeah,
I've seen it there before. But so FTX is like, it's a cryptocurrency exchange where you
right,
can go buy and sell cryptocurrency. And it's kind of like a bank in a way. And these exchanges make money by, every time somebody buys something off the blockchain, they'll take a cut out of it. Or when they sell it off the blockchain, they take a cut out of it. And there are a few major exchanges. Coinbase is the one that I think was original that a lot of people are familiar with, and then you
right.
have
They're one of
one
the big
called
players early
Binance.
on.
Yeah, Coinbase. It was really one of the most early on the scene, and there was one called Mount Gox that went down several years back that people expected to be the end of crypto, but that's kind of its own story. So FTX is a cryptocurrency exchange. And in short, basically, what we have is this company basically generated billions out of thin air by creating their own cryptocurrency, which nothing really wrong with creating your own currency. But what they did is they leveraged it and
Right.
got billions of dollars of cash loans. And the backing of it was this cryptocurrency they just made and said it had a value.
So it's
So I
almost like
think,
a Ponzi scheme going on.
yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme of epic proportions. Um, I think there's a video that kind of gives a quick overview,
Yeah,
tries to sum it up, and then we'll follow up and see if we can
yeah. I think it's a 90-second
add to it.
videos. So let's jump in that.
This is Sam Bankman-Fried. People call him SBF. He's the founder of FTX. He also controlled a crypto hedge fund called Alameda Research, but that's all gone now. He wants you to think he's this sweet guy. He even brought in a famous YouTuber who called him the most generous man in the world. Yep, that happened. Truth is, Sam Bankman-Fried is a liar and a crook. His personal crypto FTX token was basically a Ponzi scheme hidden below layers of Moonbro jargon.
So aren't his parents? They're like huge Democrat Party supporters, and
Yeah,
in the finance world, tax evasion. Like,
yeah, we've got some of this. We logged a lot of this on the free speech forum. Let's see, I'm peeking on there right now. His mom's name was Barbara Freed. She was co-founder of the political fundraising organization Mind the Gap and Get Out the Vote. So that Get Out the Vote sounds very familiar.
yeah,
That was his mom,
and they
and
started FTX in 2019, I believe. So just
yeah,
before the election,
yeah,
that Biden got
13 days.
elected.
Yeah, 13 days. Actually, it was 13 days before Biden announced his campaign.
Wow. And then I saw some information about how they're one of the top donors for the Biden um, when he was going through his to be candidate for president.
Yeah, so Sam Bankman Fried, and that everybody calls him SBF for short, which is easier to say. I keep looking at my computer here. I got some of the information up, but he was the second highest donation to the Democrat candidates, only second to George Soros.
Wow.
And George Soros, his name runs around a lot in Certain communities, there's a lot of conspiracy behind George Soros and his impact on the world.
Yeah. Well, let's jump back in this video real quick.
He even went on Bloomberg's podcast and bragged about it. Yep, that happened. He used his Ponzi token as collateral to borrow billions of real dollars that he couldn't pay back. He then used those real dollars to build an empire out of dying companies like Voyager and BlockFi. This led Jim Cramer to call him the new JP Morgan. That's weird. It's not like Jim Cramer to promote a billionaire con artist.
Kind of strange.
SBF sold people cryptos like Bitcoin, or so they thought. What they really bought from SBF was an IOU. But as long as everyone didn't cash in their IOU at the same time, the scheme worked. Until it didn't. This other a-hole who hates SBF came along and engineered a bank run with some passive-aggressive tweets. It worked. SBF didn't have enough money to repay everyone at once, and now his customers have lost everything. He'll be happy to know that this is exactly how every bank in the world operates. So where did all the money
That's just
go?
what I was thinking.
He misappropriated $4 billion trying to save his failing hedge fund. Whoops, that's a felony. He spent $21 million on Super Bowl commercials, $5 million for the big guy, $40 million in campaign donations.
Joe
Nobody what he
Biden.
wanted in return. And everyone who's pointing at this story and saying, this is exactly why we need to regulate crypto. Remember that SBF stole billions. That's already a crime. And he spent a lot of it on bribing politicians. Also a crime. In order to create a crypto monopoly for himself. Government regulations don't protect the customers. They protect the crooks. That's exactly what SBF was trying to do.
All right. Well, I saw a tweet on this, and it said, so foreign aid goes to Ukraine. Ukraine invests in FTX, and FTX donates the money back to the Democrat Party. Kind of strange
Yeah,
there.
That seems to be the flow. And what's even more interesting is, now that it's come undone, it's the Democratic Party that's like wailing for crypto regulation. So, their cash cow, I guess, gets killed, and so now they're going to try and kill that mechanism or act like they've been against it all along.
Right.
But there's definitely like billions of dollars flowing. I think the entire crypto world's valued at $1 trillion when you look at all the cryptocurrencies across the board, which is just ridiculous.
Right. I know you had an article on this about how his company was like double dipping, or they were sharing the profits. Can you give background on that?
All right, so this is kind of a good story, kind of like the pen is mightier than the sword situation,
Right.
because there's a website called CoinDesk, and they write articles, focused around crypto and the crypto markets. But they published an article on November 2nd, not even 2 weeks ago, basically acknowledging that Alameda, the investment firm that was connected to FTX, they had $14.6 billion of assets as of June 30th. And when you start looking at the assets, it's the balance sheet is full of FTX, specifically the FTT token.
Wow.
And so the FTT token was the cryptocurrency that FTX created, essentially out of thin air. And what they used it for was that people on their site that would buy FTT, they would get discounts on transactions using FTX. It's like a pretty cool idea.
Right.
That's a neat thing. It's kind of like, rather than becoming a member of the site, you can kind of like decide how much of a membership you want or benefits you want by investing in this FTT token. The issue was that, let's see, the number one, the single biggest asset on the Alameda balance sheet was $3.66 billion of FTT, which is basically, you have this concept that's neat and people spend a little bit of money on it, but they're saying that it's $3.6 billion worth of crypto that they've just generated. And not only that, there's another entry on the balance sheet that's called FTT collateral, which I don't know what that means. And when you look at the liabilities, On the liability side of the balance sheet, they have $7.4 billion of loans.
Wow.
So they created this. They created this crypto exchange. There's connections to the MIT labs. Helped got it started. I'll have to look into that more. But they created it. Got a piece of software out where people could exchange. I guess they got a little traction. People were using their website to exchange cryptocurrencies, and then all of a sudden they created their currency, said it's worth this many billions of dollars, and then they go to an actual bank, borrow billions of dollars, and and they don't have anything like $1 billion in assets.
Wow.
I mean,
You
they
hate to
borrowed
see it.
$7.4 billion is what they borrowed, and they don't have any kind of assets sitting around to back that loan. Um,
Wow. Well, I saw some
so what
breaking
happened?
news on this today, though. Like, uh, the World Economic Forum on their website, they just completely removed FTX, and so that led a lot of people to believe, was FTX laundering money to Democrat Party? Because all of a sudden now the WF wants nothing to do with them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll pretend it never happened.
Right.
And the note on
There's probably a lot of
MIT,
companies doing that.
yeah, there's a lot of crypto technology that flew out of MIT labs, but MIT actually still has an FTX future fund where they give scholarships through FTX. So there's some interesting connections with these MIT labs and some of the products they've generated,
Right.
and the original guy who created Reddit. And there's theories that he was murdered by 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 groups connected to this lab. So smart people, lots of money, lots of people trying to manipulate. But
Yeah.
these are very um, technical things we're dealing with, like very complex software. So that's why you have something like MIT, people from MIT, Caltech are creating this kind of software.
Right.
So,
There's
all
some
right. So,
major investors in this, right? Like even Tom Brady. I think we got a video on him. I mean, he was
that's what's so
hardcore.
funny. Yeah, Tom Brady, Steph Curry, Trevor Lawrence, like all these guys. So once they borrowed this $7.6 billion from the bank, they just started
Self
giving
promoting.
the most high profile people in the world money to make commercials. Kind of
Yeah.
like when we tried to get the "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" guy, but
Oh, that's
he was
right.
a lot cheaper than
Yeah, he
he
shut us
was a lot
down.
cheaper than Tom Brady.
Let's check out this Tom Brady video real quick.
Can I talk to you about something?
Yeah, we've
Giselle.
talked about it. I got another 10 years left. Maybe
Even her
15.
voice is
Not
high.
bad. This is big. What do you think? Are you in?
You know what? I'm in. Let's call everyone.
Hang on a minute.
He's rounding up the
Call this
troops.
number. Okay, I'm in. Whatever. Who's that?
That's the
That was
Jets
my
guy.
mom. Hey, don't eat that.
It's my mom.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm in.
I'm in. Yeah, Arthur, I quit.
No need to work when you're laundering money.
I mean, if Tom Brady's doing it, like, why don't we all do it?
The GOAT, man. You got to follow suit.
Hello, Tom. Doggy coin? Phil, Mark.
Are you in? I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. All right, this last one might be tough.
Nah, he loves you.
Brother's getting out the dentist. This guy. First, even if you wanted to come back, I wouldn't take you.
Yes, you would. Yeah, we would.
You're right, we would. What's up?
I'm getting into crypto. With FTX. You in?
We'll provide Inc. 360-degree access to the crypto markets with the ability to trade everything from alts to DeFi. I believe I'm in, but still hate you.
Understood.
Take care. Best of the family.
Is he in?
Yep.
Did he say he hates you?
He did.
Even on the phone, that guy sounds handsome.
I think you just said that.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
so
hilarious.
Even watching that commercial is like, I mean, it's like a commercial advertising a Ponzi scheme when you think about it. It's like,
Right.
Tom Brady said something's worth money, and so So other people try to convince other people to join up with their own money, but there's really nothing there substantial that backs the assets that all the people are investing into.
Right.
And so who's soaking up all the money? SBF and the Democratic Party. Actually, I don't know. We touched on this some, but the there was a website, a donation website set up to send donations to Ukraine by FTX, and so money was going from the U.S. to Ukraine from this donation platform, and then the money was going back into the pockets of the Democratic community.
Wow.
So
Allegedly, right?
allegedly, I was
But
trying to
it
find.
seems too good to be true,
I thought I had an
or
article
to
here
not be
that
true
wasn't
here.
really an anonymous sources article, but I think there's some really good stuff out there you can track down that provides a little more backing, and I think it's a little bit more of an allegedly situation. I think there's evidence out there that they do know that SBF was the second biggest donor to the Biden campaign, and his mother was a activist, etc. All right, so this article gets published by one of the crypto uh, journalism sites, and basically somebody on that site says, "Hey, I'm about to call FTX out because they don't have, they're worthless. They're saying
Right.
they have all this money and all these assets, but there's nothing there." And so FTX was about to be bought out by Binance. Binance is another competing platform, and
Okay.
Binance is owned by this guy, CZ Zhao. He's a Chinese guy.
Okay. So that's the guy from the
He,
video that we saw in the 90-second clip explaining everything they were talking about.
yeah,
He got
yeah. When he
jealous and
said
was like, "I'm
people
blowing this thing up."
people started like shit posting on Twitter. Yeah, it was him. CZ Zhao. He owns Binance, and these guys were always rivals, Zhao and SBF, and they had a treaty between each other to some degree. Basically, um, Zhao had a. I'm fixing my brace. That's why my arm looks
Oh
slumped
yeah,
over. I've
just
been
has
in the
shoulder surgery,
shoulder
right?
brace for. Um, so Zhao had 500 million of his own dollars invested in FTX, and SBF had 500 million of his own dollars invested in Binance. And so they were bitter rivals, but they had some kind of treaty between each other. Well, all of a sudden, that Zhao sees this article come out saying the company he's about to buy is worthless, and starts posting
That's
on
never
Twitter
good.
about it. He's saying, you're worthless, and SBF is coming around saying, no, 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 we have all this money, we have all this cash. I mean, that's the issue. They have no cash, and
Right.
all
It's
these
just
people are
borrowed money from
buying
all these different
crypto.
places.
Yeah, all these people are buying crypto, and they decide, people see this, they see, okay, Binance is backing out. They're saying this company has no money, and so everybody wants to get their money off the FTX platform. This platform is pretty sweet. Like, must be some thick wind blowing that wall
Yeah.
open.
We got a cat running around over here.
This happens. Yeah, it still looks pretty sharp, that background though.
Yeah. We've been building these bricks.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of hard work over
So
here.
all right. So everybody, we basically have a bank run at FTX. Everybody, all the average Joes go in and they're trying to get their crypto off because they hear this company's worthless.
Right. So
And
everybody wants to get the money out.
everybody goes to get their money out at once. Nobody gets any money out because there's not any money there to pay anybody. And all
Wow.
of a sudden, this company goes from a $7 billion valuation to a $0 in a few days.
Wow.
And now FTX is toast. And
It's blowing up all over Twitter,
um,
man. Everybody's talking about it,
oh
all in the
yeah,
news. Hey, well, we're running out of time here. This has been fun. I want to remind everybody, please like and subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any future of our podcasts, and check out the Free Speech Forum.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more about this, we've compiled a pretty robust thread on the site, thefreespeechforum.com.
Yeah, that's
There's
really
a
a great
thread
thread.
called there's a thread called Bitcoin nosediving, FTX exchange is going down due to SEC investigation, Tom Brady involved. And
The GOAT.
so you can go find out all the information, a lot more information on there. This story goes so much deeper. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. They tried to flee to the Bahamas. There's some kind of
And it's
sex thing
based out
going
of the
on in the
Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so
that's sketchy at best right there.
I think he's almost he's heading to jail for life very soon. But thanks for getting this together, and
Yeah, it's been
maybe we'll
fun.
talk some more about it, or we'll talk about it on the site. And look
Definitely.
forward to get back in the podcasting game.
Yeah, man. We'll have to do this more often. Drop us some comments in the video as well. And we'll catch you next time. See you, John.
See ya.